You're listening to the Sports Fix.
Portions of the Sports Fix brought to you by Harry Buffalo. Catch every UFC pay-per-view live in full HD at Harry Buffalo North Olmsted, just outside Great Northern Mall. Harry Buffalo. Join the herd.
Sports Fix listeners, don't wait all day or all week to get in on the fun. The party doesn't stop when we go off the air all week long. The Sports Fix social media sites are your one-stop shop for all things Cleveland sports. Jump over to Facebook.com/TheSportsFix, Facebook.com/TheSportsFix, and become a fan today because we love fans and they create some of the best sports talk in town, Daddy. You'll enjoy talking to your fellow Cleveland sports fans on the Sports Fix fan page. And if Twitter's your thing, well, you know how we do it. Tweet with us at TheSportsFixCLE. It's that simple.
Twitter.com/TheSportsFixCLE, baby.
Chat live with the crew during all your favorite Cleveland sports events, tickets and contests and trivia and so much more. Get with us today, The Sports Fix on social media, Facebook.com/TheSportsFix. Tweet with us at TheSportsFixCLE. Join the Sports Fix on Facebook and Twitter today.
Hey, it's Hugh Hewitt, and when I want to know what's going on with the Cavs, the Browns, and the Tribe, I tune into Sports Fix.
Live in Ohio, it's time to get your fix. The Sports Fix.
We go off and running. Let's get this turned up a little bit. How's that sound? Welcome in, everybody, to the Sports Fix. Yeah, it's been one of those weekends on my end, if you could hear. Busy. Here we are already right back at it. And man, we got a lot to get into today. I don't even know where I'm at. I know physically where I'm at, although some days that's an accomplishment too. I don't even know where I'm at today. I think we're gonna get there together. I don't know. Cathartic, I guess, is the way this episode of the show will be. You know what? We got a lot to get into, a lot of things on every end. I'm not just gonna sit here and dwell. Obviously, we're gonna talk about the Browns. Before I go anywhere, hell of a football game yesterday. I'm just gonna throw that out there, man. The offense. We're going to get into all of this here. I've already got takes on the hotline. I've had people asking me this morning, you open up the phone lines. Yes, to all of the above. We're going to get them open. Matter of fact, John McMullen, usually with us here today, he's got a prior commitment, not going to be able to be here in the house today, which means I'll be able to open up the phone lines a little bit here to some of you guys because I know my man LG's out there somewhere chomping at the bit, waiting for me to open up the phone lines here, and several of you as well. We're going to do that here because here we go. And you know what? It's different. Let's start off right there. This Monday, just strictly from the Browns. We haven't even touched on the Buckeyes. Whole lot of things to get into there. Cavaliers playing in front of a bit of a regal audience here tonight. Not a bit of, an actual regal audience here tonight. But we'll talk about some of that stuff. Big Buckeyes talk here to come. One of the first 4 teams to make the inaugural college football playoff. Cool deal there. Alabama. Man, I'm fired up, man. You drop 50. Let me get away from the Browns for a second. Get happy real quick. Drop 50. Like I said the other day, there was no debate. You want to debate something? TCU and Baylor should go debate how to put better opponents in the last week of the season if they don't want to get left out of the playoffs. You can't play Iowa State. You cannot play the South Jersey Institute of Technology on the same weekend that everybody else is squaring off in top 10, top 15 matchups. And I'm sorry, when you look at the fact that, yes, you can tell me that the Buckeyes have the worst loss, I'll counter that and say they also have the worst circumstances heading into that with the early season stuff that they went through. They moved from quarterback A to quarterback B almost effortlessly, except for that little stumble early on in the season, then turned quarterback B into the man who was about to win a Heisman Trophy before he went down in the last week of the season. And then quarterback C for Cardale, C for Cleveland, baby. Quarterback number C. Well, there you go. I was doing well for a minute. Anyways, he comes in, takes on one of the top 5 defenses in the country. The team faces one of the premier star players in the country. The team faces a top 15 opponent, and they not only win a game that many people thought that they could perhaps win, although a lot of people were literally on the other side. Plain Dealer ran their 5 reasons that Ohio State's going to lose this weekend, and everybody was on upset alert. Buckeyes didn't just win. They won 59 points, dumped on one of the top defenses in the country with your 3rd-string quarterback. Brother, I want you to show me how many other programs in this country could get down to quarterback number 3 and just compete along the way like the Buckeyes. There was zero debate. I want to hear about, well, how do you dump TCU down 2 spots? They were only put number 3 to protect Florida State from a shaky victory, and that was simply for maneuverability purposes. They were covering their bases in case Jones laid an egg, in case the Bucks laid an egg this weekend. That was where they knew last week that Ohio State was one of the top 4 teams in the nation. And you know what? Ohio State gets what they want, and people that hate Ohio State get what they want too. Put up or shut up. Alabama, that is going to be one hell of a football game right there. And it's just the first of 2, hopefully, for the Buckeyes. Cardale Jones didn't just come to play. He didn't just fill a spot. He wasn't just the next man up. That boy can throw some more. I'm Dan Wismar, who's going to join us a little bit later on in the show today. He said it. He said the other day when we were doing the preview live last Wednesday, he said, guys, you are going to be surprised if you don't know the kind of arm that Cardale Jones is going to bring to the table. And he did. I'll tell you. I was just amazingly joking with my son during the game. I said, okay, what do they do next year now when you've got 3 quarterbacks and a couple of fresh ones coming in that will also want to be part of this discussion? You're going to have 4 or 5 deep here. But, I mean, look at those 3. I mean, look, a game is a game. Cardale Jones, more than one game to make a career. But Braxton, J.T. Barrett, Cardale Jones, a hell of a problem to have there. I said, man, it's a shame that's not a pro team. I mean, make your jokes about the NCAA, but I said it's a shame that's not a pro team because, boy, talk about having some tradable assets dealing from a position of strength. That is what the Buckeyes would most definitely be in the quarterback position there. But anyways, Final Four, it comes down, as you would expect, a lot of the Buckeye haters, as there are, Mark May, go out there and say what they want, but there's no doubt in my mind, any smidgen of doubt. And it was so funny because when Dan and I were talking last week, it was if everybody else wins, which everybody else won, if everybody else wins short of an absolute demolishing, which nobody saw, not I, not anybody saw a demolishing. They saw a victory, perhaps, but not the what we saw there, and what they did to Gordon too. I mean, just in general, just a domination there. But anyways, they needed that and then some, and they got that and then some. And I mean, it was so dominant, so one-sided, so completely just dominant. Going back to that word, that sealed all doubt. And if nothing else, it teaches you that you don't schedule a bum game in the last week of the season. Don't put yourself in that position. People can say, well, it was because they didn't have a championship game. It was because, and I hear that, and that's up to the conference to deal with that. The Big Ten had to go through that same deal, and they developed themselves a game there. They knew where everything was heading. But regardless, I mean, I still say, forget that. Because I don't think the conference champion thing is all of it. I mean, yeah, you could say that, but technically those guys were co-champions, So, I mean, technically that's a conference championship too. What my point is that taking that out of the equation, you still, if they would have played you can tell me these games are scheduled years in advance. I got that. But I'm pretty sure that they weren't anticipating that being a top 25 matchup last weekend was TCU. I'm pretty sure that that team didn't just get worse over the last few years. Come on. That'll teach you a lesson right there. Even if you don't have a championship game, you might want to have a tough, because I believe had they had a better opponent, had they had just a more reasonably close victory there, something else to throw to the resume, maybe it still wouldn't tip it, because how the hell do you tip it past laying 59 and a shellacking on a top 15 team like that? Not just a top 15 team, but what were they, top 3 at the time of the game, top 5 in defense, whatever. That's what puts it over the top and just seals the resume for the Ohio State Buckeyes. We're going to talk about that coming up here later on in the show, just about a half hour from now. Dan Wismar from the Cleveland Fan will be with us. We will talk all about the Buckeyes, all about the playoffs. We'll talk about Wisconsin, Baylor, TCU, and now looking ahead to Alabama, Nick Saban. That's going to be a hell of a game there. The other one, too, Florida State and Oregon, that's going to be a good one, too. And you know what? The gig is up. You talk about, being exposed, bad schedules, all of that. Let Florida State, all the talk. Let's see. They go out here and they win 2 games in this thing, then they shut everybody up about these undefeated seasons and soft schedules. Buckeyes, same thing. People criticize the Big Ten. They go out here and beat Alabama and then beat the winner of that other game. Hey, you do the same thing. You shut a whole lot of people up, and you put yourself right there. You control that. That's the cool thing about it. Now, obviously, you got arguments, and I'll get Dan's take on this. Should it be 6 teams, 8 teams? If it was 6 teams, then you've got TCU and Baylor in there as well. 8 teams. I get it, but I don't know, man. I think with the exception of that, this is a pretty clear-cut top 4. And I think even at that point, if we're looking at the whole body of work, I don't think that anybody from 1 through 5, 6, 7, however far down you want to go, can match doing what the Buckeyes did with the circumstances that they did. Because that, to me, is what really puts it over the top. When you're down to your 3rd quarterback throughout the season. And even people, and I've never been, look, Urban Meyer I'm not an anti-Urban, but I was never like the biggest, Urban's the man. It's just, okay, he's a good coach, and we'll see what he does with the Buckeyes. But hell of a coaching job for even people that are anti-Urban Meyer. I dare any coach to do that. We sit here and talk about when is too many next man up when we talk about the Browns. We're talking about the position, the quarterback. We're not talking about a position. We're not even just talking about, and we joke about drop down from elite to the next level and all of that. Well, I don't know. Either you've got 3 elite level quarterbacks or you've got a coaching staff who coached them each up to an elite level. Either way it goes, man, hell of a job. And there you go. And I think they were rewarded. I really do. And again, if you disagree, please show me a set of circumstances and go, well, and show me 3 quarterbacks and go, well, I think this team could win if they were down to this. I was going to say TCU, but I couldn't even tell you who the 3rd quarterback on their roster is. I'd have to go look that up. Point being is good luck with that, because I think you'll be looking for a while to find a team to pull that off. So we'll talk about all of that coming up with Dan Wismar, who was also in the house yesterday. Browns, Colts, and yeah, we're going to get into that here. As a matter of fact, next segment, I've already got a couple of calls in the queue. I'm going to play those as we go to the break. I'll open up the phone lines. I'll get you guys in on it. We'll start going through some game discussion and all of that. A lot more to get into. Cavs, monsters, and so much. So let's do it. Let's kick this bad boy off. Welcome in, my friends, to the Sports Fix live across the Sports Fix radio network. Getting ready to... I see the phone lines going. They heard the word phones. They're like, we're calling now, J-Rock Daddy. Welcome in. I am J-Rock Daddy, as I just said. I'm your host, the big daddy on the microphone, J-Rock Jerry Myers, welcoming each and every one of you in another Monday here on the Sports Fix Radio Network. We are live Monday through Friday at noon right here across the network, whether that means you're listening on... I'm sorry. When the word J-Rock Daddy pops up on the screen, it just threw me out of the corner of my eye. Hello to Ron in the chat room. Hello, whether you're listening live on TuneIn. It's just something about seeing grown men use the word daddy. I don't know, man. I love it, man. That's my thing. Welcome in, those of you. I'm going to get through this intro. Those of you listening on TuneIn, TuneIn's radio app worldwide, listening on Spreaker and Mixler, and I'm all over the place now. Their respective digital applications and everybody listening live, always on the mothership, the home base, thesportsfix.net, your one-stop shop for all things Cleveland sports. Welcome in. If you haven't already, make sure you bookmark it because it's got everything you need right there. And welcome in all of you, thousands around the world listening on digital